Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrutyam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devi Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayamudirahe Nashtaprayeshu Vadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Muttama Shloke Bhaktirabhavati Naishtaki Grandraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Reading Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd Canto, 27th chapter, titled as Understanding the Material Nature, text number 6. Kapila Dev is explaining to Mata Devahuti about the science of souls. And in the previous verses, Kapila Dev explained to Mata Devahuti that the soul originally is pure, but when the soul gets this material body and soul gets entangled with the three modes of material nature, then the soul identifies itself with the body. And as soon as the soul identifies itself with the body and starts sense gratification, the repeated cycle of birth and death starts. So Kapila Dev is explaining to Mata Devahuti that to get out of this repeated cycle of birth and death and to acquire the original position, a living entity must engage his mind and his consciousness in the devotional service with detachment. Further, Kapila Dev is explaining about the importance of Bhakti Yoga. Kapila Dev is saying, Yamadhivir Yoga Parthair Abhyashanam Shraddhayanvita Mai Bhavena Satyena Mat Katha Shravanena Cha. So here, Kapila Dev is explaining about the process of Bhakti Yoga and how it helps one to get liberated from repeated cycle of birth and death. So he says, Yama Adhipi Yoga Patehi Abhyasa Shraddhaya Anvita Mai Bhavena Satyena Mat Katha Shravana Cha. Mat Katha Shravana Cha, which means Bhagavan Kapila Dev is saying one has to become faithful by practicing the controlling process of yoga system, which is Bhakti Yoga. And one must elevate oneself to the platform of unalloyed devotional service, which is Bhakti Yoga. And how do you do that? By Mat Katha Shravanena Cha, by chanting and hearing Krishna Katha, by constantly engaged in Shravanam Kirtanam. So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains about this science of Bhakti Yoga. Yoga is practiced in 8 different stages. Ashtanga Yoga, Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayam, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana and Samadhi. So these are 8 limbs of yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, in which Yama and Niyama means practicing the controlling process by following strict rule and regulations. Then next stage is asana, which means various bodily postures. The yama, niyama and asana help one raise to the standard of faithfulness in devotional service. Once we control our body parts and our follow certain rules and regulations, then we can come to the devotional service. The practice of yoga by physical exercise is not the ultimate goal. So yoga does not mean just the physical exercise, which is one of the component, which is asana. But the real end of a yoga process is to concentrate and control the mind and to train oneself to be situated in faithful devotional service. So the ultimate purpose of yoga is that we control our senses and surrender to Krishna and remember Krishna's name in devotional service. Now, in this shloka, there is one word which is called bhavena or bhava, which is used, and it's very important in practice of Bhakti Yoga. So, bhava is explained in Bhagavad Gita in 10th chapter, 8th shloka, where Krishna says, Buddha bhava samanvita, uh, anyabhilashita shunyam gnana karma dhyanavratam, kirtanadeva krishnasya mukta sangha param vrajej. And what is that shloka? Buddha bhava samanvita. Buddha bhava samanvita, which means that Krishna says, Aham sarvasya prabhavo mata sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam Buddha bhava samanvita. Which means that Krishna is the source of all the spiritual and material worlds, and everything is coming from Lord Krishna. So one who perfectly knows this science of Krishna consciousness can engage in devotional service and worship Krishna with all their heart and soul. So that is explained in Buddha Bhava Samanvita. One should be absorbed in the thought of love for Krishna. When one understands that Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the source of everything, everything is coming from Krishna. And that everything emanates from him. Aham sarvasya prabhavo mata sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajanti mam buddha bhava samanvita. Then one understands the Vedanta philosophy. What is that? Janmadyasya yata navadatrasya arteshu abhigna swarata tene brahmarada kavaye muhyanti yata suryaha tejo varim yata minimayo yatra te sargamrusha Dhamna Svaina Sada Nirastakam Satyam Param Dhimahi. Krishna is the Satyam, Krishna is the Param, Krishna is the Dhimahi. Satyam Param Dhimahi. Everything is Krishna. Rupa Goswami explains very nicely in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu how this bhava or the preliminary stage of love of God is achieved. So, Ado Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, Anartha Nivrutti, Bhava, and then Prema. So bhava is a stage where one develops relationship. That is explained in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu by Rupa Goswami. He states that one, first of all, has to become faithful, Shraddhaya Vantita. Faith is attained by controlling the senses, either by yoga practice, following the rules and regulations, following them, and practicing the sitting postures, or by engaging directly in Bhakti Yoga as recommended in previous verse of nine items of devotional service of Bhakti Yoga. First and foremost is Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu, that is mentioned here. Mata Katha Shravanena Cha, one may come to the standard of faithfulness by following rules and regulations of yoga system. And the same goal can be achieved simply by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra and hearing about Krishna Katha. The word cha is significant. Bhakti yoga is direct, another process is indirect. But if the indirect process is taken, there is no success unless one comes fully to the process of hearing and chanting the glories of Lord. Therefore, the word Satyena is used here. In this connection, Swami Sridhara commented that Satyena means Nishkapatena, without duplicity. Niskapatena. The impersonalists are all full of duplicity. Sometimes they pretended to extend devotional service, but their ultimate idea is to become one with Supreme Lord. The Bhagavatam does not allow duplicity. In the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, it is clearly stated, Paramo Nirmatsaranam. This Bhagavatam is meant for those who are free from enviness. The same point is stressed here. Unless one is completely faithful to the Supreme Personality of Godhead and engages in process of hearing and chanting the glories of Lord, there is no possibility of liberation. So here we can see that in this verse, Srila Prabhupada ji. Hare Krishna, have a seat, have a seat. How are you today? Good, good. So we learned here, just I read a shloka today, and in this verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, yoga is explained here. So yoga, generally people understand yoga as exercise, asanas. But yoga involves 8 limbs: yama, niyama, asana, pranayam, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, samadhi. So yama and niyama means following rules and regulations, certain rules and regulations like getting up early in the morning, then no meat eating and all those rules and regulations, 4 regulative principles. So, but then when one becomes devotee, when one chants Krishna's name, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Then one, as in Bhakti Yoga process is such a sublime process that all the good qualities develop automatically. As you become devotee and as you chant Krishna mantra, Hare Krishna mantra, then you develop also bhava. Bhava means affection for Krishna. And once you develop affection for Krishna and you serve faithfully, then you get also prema. Prema means love for Krishna. So bhava and prema. So first is shraddha. Shraddha means have faith. Then you associate with the devotees. Then you have Adu Shraddha Sadhu Sangha. Then you chant Hare Krishna mantra, read Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. Then Anartha Nivritti, all the bad things will go away. Then you surrender to Krishna and you get attachment to Krishna. And then ultimately you get a prema like that. So this is a process of Bhakti Yoga. So, you have any questions? Good. Thank you.